Admiral Zexathari of the Galactic Council stood before the holographic display, her 6 eyes fixed on the tactical readout that showed humanity's fleet formations. The numbers were staggering, not because of their size, but because of their impossible coordination across 17 star systems. "They're doing it again," her tactical officer, a crystalline Vorthak named Kryn, whispered through his resonance chambers. "Every single human vessel is moving in perfect synchronization. It's like they share one mind." Zexathari's mandibles clicked nervously. 3 months ago, the Galactic Council had dismissed humans as a minor species, technologically adequate but emotionally unstable. They were traders, explorers, occasionally troublesome but ultimately insignificant. That was before the Draknari Syndicate made their mistake. The mistake had a name: Emma Chen. Age 7, daughter of Dr. Sarah Chen and Commander Marcus Chen of the human research vessel Harmony. The Draknari had taken her during a routine raid on the human colony of New Brisbane, along with several other colonists. Standard operating procedure for the Syndicate: capture, ransom, or sell to the slave markets. What the Draknari hadn't understood was that Emma wasn't just any child. She wasn't even just any human child. She was the child, the first human born in the Kepler 442 system, the symbolic daughter of humanity's expansion into the Outer Rim. But more importantly, she was a little girl who called every adult on the colony aunt or uncle, who had been adopted by proxy into 1,000 human families across the sector. When the news reached Earth, something unprecedented happened. The human economic engine didn't just slow, it stopped. Stock markets closed. Mining operations ceased. Trade routes went silent. Within 48 hours, every human vessel in known space began converging on Draknari territory. "Status report," Zexathari commanded as she watched another wave of human ships emerge from hyperspace. 743 vessels now in the Draknari home system, Kryn reported. "Everything from military destroyers to converted cargo haulers. They're not responding to our ceasefire broadcasts." And the Draknari, terrified. They've offered to return all prisoners, pay reparations, submit to council arbitration, everything. The humans aren't even acknowledging their communications. Zexathari had seen wars before. She'd commanded fleets in the Vegan Uprising and survived the Silicon Rebellion. But she'd never seen anything like this. It wasn't just the scale of the human response, it was the nature of it. They weren't fighting for territory or resources or political advantage. They were fighting for one little girl, and somehow that made them more dangerous than any army she'd ever faced. The holodisplay chimed with an incoming transmission. A human face appeared, weathered, grim, wearing the uniform of the Terran Colonial Defense Force. Admiral Sarah Martinez, if Zexathari's intelligence was correct. "Admiral Zexathari," Martinez said without preamble, "I'm transmitting the location of our child. You have 18 hours to ensure her safe return to human space, along with all other prisoners taken by the Draknari Syndicate." "Admiral Martinez, please be reasonable. The Council is prepared to mediate." 18 hours, Martinez repeated. "After that, we will demonstrate why Earth's dominant species survived ice ages, supervolcanoes, and each other long enough to reach the stars." The transmission ended. Kryn's crystalline structure flickered with anxiety patterns. "Admiral, surely they're bluffing. One species against the entire Galactic Council, it's suicide." Zexathari wasn't so sure. Her xenobiology reports on humans made for disturbing reading. They were persistence predators, creatures that had evolved to chase prey across impossible distances until their targets died of exhaustion. They were pack hunters who had somehow maintained their tribal instincts even after achieving spaceflight. Most unsettling of all, they were a species that had weaponized their own parental instincts. "Pull up the file on human child-rearing," she ordered. The data streams were sobering. Human parents would literally die for their offspring. Not metaphorically, literally. They would fight creatures 10 times their size, endure impossible hardships, sacrifice everything they had for their young. But humans had taken that biological imperative and somehow extended it beyond their own genetic offspring. The girl Emma wasn't just Marcus and Sarah Chen's daughter. According to human social structures, she was the daughter of their entire community, their extended family, their tribe. In a very real sense, every human in their colonial network considered themselves her parent. 17 hours remaining, Kryn announced. On the tactical display, more human ships continued arriving. Construction vessels had been hastily armed with mining charges. Luxury yachts bristled with improvised weapon systems. Even tourist cruisers had joined the fleet, their passengers apparently volunteering for what might be a suicide mission. A new communication arrived, this time from the Draknari syndicate leader, his reptilian features twisted with panic. "Council Admiral, we're returning the human child immediately. All prisoners are being released. Please convince them to withdraw their forces." But when Zexathari tried to contact Admiral Martinez, she received only an automated response. Child status, not verified safe. Timeline, unchanged. The truth was becoming clear. The humans wouldn't stop until Emma Chen was physically in their arms, safe and unharmed. Until then, they were prepared to turn the entire Draknari system into a debris field. "Admiral," Kryn whispered, "long-range sensors are detecting something else. Human vessels are emerging from hyperspace in 37 other systems, every known Draknari outpost and holding facility." Zexathari felt her blood chill. This wasn't just a rescue mission. The humans were systematically dismantling the entire Draknari syndicate. They were sending a message to every species in the galaxy: touch our children and we will end you. With 10 minutes to spare, a small Draknari shuttle approached the human fleet under a white flag. The tactical display showed the moment when scanners confirmed a small human biosignature aboard. The human fleet waited in perfect silence as the shuttle docked with Admiral Martinez's flagship. Long minutes passed. Then finally a transmission came through. A little girl's voice, frightened but unharmed. "Daddy, I want to go home." The human fleet began to withdraw immediately. No demands for reparations. No victory celebrations. They had come for one child and now they were taking her home. But the galaxy would remember. Word spread quickly through the trade networks and diplomatic channels. Humanity was no longer a minor species to be dismissed. They were the species that had declared war on an entire criminal syndicate for one little girl. And won. In the years that followed, human colonies were left alone. Human children were considered off-limits by every criminal organization in known space. The Galactic Council quietly updated their threat assessment protocols. Emma Chen grew up to become a diplomat, never knowing that her childhood trauma had fundamentally altered the balance of power in the galaxy. But every human parent knew, and every alien species learned. You could negotiate with humanity, trade with them, even fight them over resources or territory, but you never ever touched their children. The galaxy had learned what Earth's apex predators were truly capable of when their young were threatened. And they would never forget.